My name's Scott. I'm actually doing this as a project from my my DAW class at Fresno State. But basically, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to show you guys how to mix and master a song basically from scratch, um, using mostly Isotope plugins. Now that's I'm gonna mix with the Isotope plugins and master with it, but like some of the stuff like reverb and delays and all that stuff, I'm not gonna be using Isotope plugins, but I do have some for that, and I will reference them and show you guys how to use that as well. But this is mostly one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of people feel like they can't record music in their own home studio. Um, because they feel like it's too hard. It's too hard to learn how to mix. It's too hard to learn how to master, and it is. It really is. It took me a long time. I mean, I had to study it for, I don't want to embarrass myself, but like a year and a half to really even begin to understand it. And even now that I do it, I still don't understand it like really well to a point where I'm just fluent and good at it. But I will say that as you start mixing and mastering things, you will like kind of get through a flow, right? Like you'll get your flow, and like if you're using the same instruments every time and you're recording vocals at the same level every time, then basically you know it's gonna come pretty easy, right? Your process will go faster. Make presets, stuff like that. But I want to show you guys how to mix and master a song from scratch. And I want to show you guys how easy it can be. Now, again, I am using the Isotope Music Production Suite. They make it very easy for you. I do recommend that you do still go and learn the basics, but they make it very easy for you, and I want to show you that anyone can do it. Not just anyone can do it, but like if you've been thinking about for a while now, hey, I want to record music, I really want to get into that, but you know, all I can do is sing. That was me. All I can do is sing and play the piano a little bit. I had to learn everything else, right? Didn't know how to make a drum beat. All these things. But I just want to show you that you can do it. You can learn how to mix and master. So right here, this is a song that actually I released on YouTube about a week or two ago. It was fully mixed and mastered. I unmixed and mastered it for the purposes of this video. I will actually link the fully completed video, right? Um, I'll link it. I'll link it to this video so you guys can see the end product. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's just dive right into this. You can see I have here pulled up in Pro Tools. I have all these tracks, right? I have my lead vocals. With this is actually a cover of Olivia Rodrigo's Driver's License. Um, but I kind of made it my own, which is what you're supposed to do with the cover. But these are all the tracks I have, right? I have lead vocals, I have some ad libs on the bridge, you can see right here. Then on the bridge, I kind of made like a 1, 2, 3, 4 part harmony. Uh, I have some filtered ad libs towards the end. I have a few crashes, a piano and a drum crash. I even have a bass crash. Obviously some drums, piano, and an 808. Okay. Now, usually, if you're like mixing and mastering a song, what you'll do is you'll go to this window right here, right? The mixing window, right? And I used to do this until I learned about Isotope, but the way that I would actually do this is, I turn all these volumes down and slowly start bringing it up until, you know, I hear a mix that I like, right? Red lights, stop signs, I still see your face. So this is it with nothing mixed, right? Nothing's mixed here. You can see already how I'm clipping, right? My master track is already clipping. There's a lot of things going on here, right? There's a lot of noise that's just it's creating all this volume, and it's starting to cause clipping. You can't hear anything clearly. Some things like the drums and the 808 are way too overpowering. The harmonies are very overpowering as well. The purpose of the harmonies for me in this song is for them to just add texture to the actual song. It's not supposed to be an area of focus. But let's just say you have all this, right? You have all this. You could do this the old-fashioned way. You can just, use these sliders, What I'm going to show you is through Isotope. Now, if you have the Isotope Music Production Suite, which I highly recommend that if you don't have it, that you get it, it comes with this thing called the Visual Mixer. what you do is you put it on your master bus, which is right here. I have my master bus, and it basically shows you a visual mixer, like of every single thing or every single track you have. What you would do is you would actually just put an instance of Relay. So, I mean, I put them on already for the purposes of saving time. But what you would do is you would go here to your plugins, right? Go to iZotope and go to Relay, right? Now, obviously, this is a vocal track, so it's a mono plugin, right? But if you had like a stereo track, like your instruments, whatever, you would choose mono stereo. But this is a vocal track, so a mono relay, right? This is how it looks. Once you have an instance of relay on every single track, what you would do is you would go down to your master track, right? And you would insert this plugin called it comes with the iZotope suite. It's called the Visual Mixer, right? So it's right here, Neutron 3 Visual Mixer. You put that into your master track, okay? And what you're gonna do here, so right here you can see all the tracks that have a relay on it, right? And this right here, think of it as this mixing window, but it's visual, right? You can, for example, if you wanted, you could find your lead vocals, and you can put this, you can turn this up, turn this down. Because it's mono, you can't actually move it left or right. But stereo tracks, you can. Like you can put your piano up here, you can put your guitar up here, so on and so forth, right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on Mix Assistant. It's gonna show you all your tracks that have a relay on it, right? And after that, you have to choose a focus track. What it's gonna do is it's gonna raise the volume of that track specifically, and then it's gonna mix all the tracks around that track. So for me, it's the vocal track, right? If you're doing like EDM music or whatever, or electronic music, you might have a different focus. But for me, it's the vocal track, right? Now remember, you can always turn the volume down later, right? So what it's gonna want you to do is it's gonna want you to play the song from start to finish, right? And then uh, it'll kind of mix it for you. But I'll show you that whenever we get there. I'm gonna fast forward the video here, but so I'm gonna click begin listening. I'm gonna start the song from the beginning. Okay, once you've listened to the song all the way through, just click on go to results. And what it's doing here is it's classified every single track as either a musical track, right? Piano, guitar, an instrument, a percussion track, drums, right? A bass track, so that's your bass or your 808, vocal tracks, and your focus tracks. Now you can see usually vocal tracks, it will shift it down -4, right? Um, what you can also do here, well, first of all, you can actually hear the mix before and after. So let me just show you guys. Here's how it sounded before. Red lights, stop signs, I still see your face. Now here's how it sounds after the mix. White cars, front yards, can't drive past the places we used to go to, 'cause I still really love you, babe. Okay, so you can see the instruments and the drums came down a little bit. The vocals came down, right? I have an 808 that also came down, and then the focus kind of stayed where it was at, right? So you can actually click edit classification if you feel like something's been mislabeled, right? So you can look at this, right? Just need to make sure that my bass and my bass crash are under bass, right? So you can reclassify things if you need to, but for me, I'm pretty sure I'm good from where I'm at. So you're gonna hit accept, and what it's gonna do is it's basically mix the song for you, right? And you can see it visually. And let's just say you don't like a certain part of the mix. You can move things around. So let me just show you something the way that I would do this. My biggest part of the mixing process for this song comes right here with the harmonies, right? So if I solo these harmonies, I kind of want to make sure. Red lights, stop signs, I still see your face in the wild. So you guys can already hear that my bridge ad-libs, which is basically like my lead vocals, are already too low. So I can either find it here, or I can just click on this relay right here. And maybe I bring this up probably to about -1 for now, just because I want it to be over it.
Red lights, stop signs, I still see your face.
Now my vocals on top, right?
Front yards, can't drive past the place.
Now you can hear that some of the harmonies are a little off timing. I did that purposely. Not like purposely, like I'm gonna sing off timing or whatever. No, it's just these harmonies were just meant to add texture. They weren't actually meant to shine in the actual track, right? So this is a unison melody. I'm probably just gonna bring that down 0. Here's an octave. Here's the octave, right? So if I just solo this.
Red lights, stop signs.
You can see that, I mean, obviously I used a lot of autotune on it because I didn't really care to spend too much time in the studio trying to get a perfect take. You're not supposed to hear the texture of the actual, harmony. You can. Don't get me wrong, you can, right? You can, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this probably down to here. I'm going to pan this probably right here. The way that I like to do my panning is like this, guys. If you're sitting down and you're looking straight at a choir, I just know from when I used to go to church and stuff, the tenors are right there in the middle, so I'd put the male voices dead center, right? So you can see I did this right here. I put the male voices dead center. The sopranos are usually on the right. But I already have my other notes on the right, so I just kind of put this on the left. And then I'll just put the other two, right? The opposite directions, right? So this is right. So I'm going to put this one left. Right? And here's where you got to use your ear, right?
Red lights, stop signs, I still see your face in the white cars. Front yards, can't drive past the places we used to go to.
Now, you guys can hear that there's 4 parts there, or hopefully you can. But you can't really hear the texture of the actual harmonies, right? That's kind of what I wanted with this song, where there's like a choir backing me up, but you can't actually hear the texture of it. You just hear the parts, and to me it sounds great. So if I play it with the actual track, it's gonna sound like this, right?
Red lights, stop signs, I still see your face in the white cars. Front yards, can't drive past the places.
So you guys can hear how there's a vocal track backing up the actual lead vocals, right? That's kind of what my objective was for this, right? Now everything else should be mixed pretty well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that my lead vocals and my bridge ad-libs are at the same volume, because that's basically what they were, right? They're basically the same thing. These are actually lead vocals on top of the bridge. I just made a separate track for it, okay? I did that originally because I wanted to use different effects. I ended up not, but it's just a little trick that you can use, right? Now, if you go and you listen to the track, you can hear, and you can actually just pull up this mixer window, and you can see how it's mixed, right?
I know we weren't perfect, but I've never felt this.
You guys see how you can hear the piano, right? Here's the piano.
And I
You can hear the drums. You can't really hear the 808 unless you have some bass heavy headphones or whatever, or you're in a car and you have a sub. But there's a workaround for that I'll share with you guys in a different video, how to increase those frequencies to hear on regular headphones. But you guys can see the before and after, how now the track sounds like it's properly mixed, right? And obviously you can make adjustments to what you already have if you want. Like, let's say you want the drums to be louder, well then you can just click on the relay for the drums and you can turn it louder if you want, right? I like the drums right where they're at, and that's how you would use this. So if you know almost nothing about mixing, you don't know what you're doing, this is a great starting point, right? Obviously with mixing you have to use your ear. Like you can't just rely on Isotope to do all the work for you. You got to use your ear, and it's going to take some practice, right? The headphones you use, they matter. The monitors that you use, they matter. Your track is going to sound different in a car. It's going to sound different when you're wearing headphones. It's going to sound different while it's on a phone, right? So you're going to have to use your ear, and you're going to have to use your judgment, and you're going to have to use your own style as well, right? To mix a song to your liking. But once it's all mixed, that's when you can start adding effects. That's when you can start adding to the track, vocal saturation. You can start adding reverb, and all those things. But this is just the basis of where you need to be, right? So now I have my track. If I want to play it from where all parts are playing, I can hear that it's properly mixed, right? A couple of things about my drums. I use Superior Drummer to make my drums. I highly suggest that if you're doing well, obviously you're doing drums. I highly suggest that you record each individual part. Like, I don't mean like record every kick. I mean like make a kick track, make a snare track, make a hi-hat track, record every single part on a different track so you can mix it. Because the same thing applies with drums, right? If you're looking at a drum set, what you want to do is you want to mix. Like, you don't want everything dead center. It's going to create a lot of noise. It's going to create a lot of ambient. It's going to create a lot of mud. You don't want that. You want to pan things where they're supposed to be, right? So your kick and your snare will be center. I like to do like some ear play, and I actually like to pan my snares to the right, about 50 or 75, and I use those as accents and fills, and then I put like a clap or a snap down center. That's what I like to do. So the way that I pan drums, or most people pan drums, it's well, you can either do drummer perspective or viewer's perspective. I actually do viewer's perspective. So if you're looking at a drum set, hi-hats are on the left, so I will pan my hi-hats to the left, right? And then there's the crashes, you pan them depending on where they're at, right? But that's what you would do. Superior Drummer, it does all that for you. So you can see from my drum track, if I scroll down to my drum track, it's just one big track, right? I actually use, you guys can see right here, I use Superior Drummer to make that track. And within Superior Drummer is a mixer that basically lets me do all that panning before I even bounce the track. So that's the reason why there's just one drum track, but you can even hear it in the mix that it's already panned. You can hear my hi-hats up here on the left if you're wearing headphones. Right? So on and so forth, right? Same thing with my piano. My piano is actually like that as well. My piano, I have a Yamaha Montage. That's already panned as well. Whenever I hit higher up on the keyboard, it pans it to the left. Whenever I hit lower, it pans it down center, so on and so forth. But regardless, if you have Isotope, you can use the visual mixer to help you out with that, right? If you have guitar tracks, you could use that to help you out with that as well. But these are the basics of mixing with just Isotope. All you need is a relay and the visual mixer, and boom, you're done. Your song is basically mixed. Honestly, I feel like the way that this track sounds right now, I can move on, right? I feel like all the levels are where I want to be, where I want it to be. My vocals are singing over. You can hear the harmonies, but you can't hear the textures, right? You can't hear all the places where I auto-tune or whatever, right? You can hear all the textures. Now all that fluctuation you're hearing in the vocals, that just needs compression, which we'll talk about in a different video as well. But that should be it. I will be making another video going through the rest of the mixing process, where we'll talk about how to mix your instruments. Not mix, but like well, it's part of the mixing process where you add effects to your instruments, EQing, compression, saturation, exciters, all that stuff, as well as an entire video on a vocal chain, the vocal chain that I specifically use, that I hope will help you when it comes to making your own vocal chain. But that's what we'll do in future videos. But until then, you guys can go ahead and check out the final product of this video if you're interested. It should be linked in the description. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Red lights, stop signs. still see your face in the white cars, front yards. Can't drive past the places we used to